Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Today we are back in War Thunder and we're looking at the BM-13N, which is colloquially known as the Katyusha. This is the rocket truck, which is probably the most famous one of the war of any other nations, generally down to its sound and obviously the amount of videos that it is actually present in. So, how do you get this vehicle? Well, there is a news blog on the War Thunder website which shows you how to do it. A link will be in the description for it. If you can't get to the link, basically what you do is you go to your account on the War Thunder website and you activate the promo code Katyusha. That will give you a BM-824 special for an hour, so you'll be able to use and test drive the B-8M24, which is, I believe, the Tier 2 rocket ship that the Russians have. And you also get a special title called Incinerator. And then you take it into the event, where you play the event Rocket Launch, and you have to kill 5 enemies in a single match whilst driving the BM-824. If you already have the BM-824, all you have to do is go into a match and win it, and you will get this BM-13N. And of course, you get 3 respawns to get 5 kills. That's pretty, it's not too hard to do. It can be a bit RNG-y, but my advice is to do it in arcade, have some fun with it. It'll take you a few games, and you have until the 10th of May 11 GMT. So it is coming up. You generally will have about a day after this video goes up. So what is the BM-13N in-game? Well, it is, as I said, the Katyusha. It has no armor. It actually has quite a lot of speed behind it, and it has 16 132mm M13 rockets. It also has the pneumatic suspension system, which we have seen in-game, which got released in the, is it the last major update or the update before? Basically when the Japanese were introduced. Certain tanks, such as the Type 74, were the prototype vehicles used for this mechanism, and it's basically a way that you can angle your vehicle so you can get your gun down, or you can angle your armor, whereas with the BM-13N it is actually quite necessary because if you don't have it all the way down looking forward, your gun depression is sat at 8 degrees, so you can't fire straight. Once you actually put the vehicle down, you will be able to shoot relatively straight, and therefore you can run at enemies with your rockets. This thing's max speed supposedly is 72 kilometers an hour. That, in my current experience, is a lie. The highest I've got this thing is about 40 kilometers an hour, and that was on a road in Advance to the Rhine. Something that you don't get with the Katyusha is any armor. This thing actually has 1mm of armor, if we're actually looking at it seriously. Even though the stat card itself says 555, the only parts of it which are 5mm is the chassis itself and the mountings that hold the rockets. The part where people shoot at is 1mm thick, which is the truck itself. You have 2 crew members, one a driver, one a commander, and that's it. So if any of them get hit, you are dead. This thing is very susceptible to artillery in the game. It is very susceptible to basically anything, whether it be a 20mm Japanese gun, a 50 cal, a 30 cal, whatever it is, this thing's gonna die. So don't get shot in it, that's all I can basically say. But overall, it is actually a really good special vehicle. This is basically the vehicle that they are giving away for the Victory Day event, the Victory in Europe. It is Victory Day on the 8th of May 1945, so today or yesterday, depending on when you're viewing this thing, and it is nice to see that Gaijin have given this away that you can get. Same with the fact that they've already just given away 4 different special vehicles, and also the tournament on top of that, where you can get the I-301 and the Su-76M. So yeah, Gaijin have done a wonderful job over this last week of giving players some very interesting vehicles, and even though this Katyusha is generally not very good, it's still a lot of fun. It's still a machine which has 16 M13 rockets on it. It can kill anything it finds, but anything that it finds can also kill it with some small caliber guns. It does have an interesting blast shield on the on the front of the truck, which is supposed to be, I suppose, spaced armor and cover the crew a little bit, but it's only 4mm thick, so anything will be able to go through it. Something that does happen quite a lot actually, especially if the enemy shoots you a bit wrong, is shells will actually just go through the vehicle. Because it's so thinly armored, nothing will explode inside of it, so if you are dealing with something like this, just machine gun it, it's a lot easier to do. One thing I really want to mention, because I think I mentioned this before on another video, is the transmission and the engine in the X-ray view of this thing is absolutely astounding. They've modeled it so well. The three-tiered axis on the transmission is wonderful to look at, and also the engine itself, all of the different compartments have been modeled in, and it's not just an engine block, it's an actual proper model of a 94 horsepower 2500 RPM engine. A really nice job done on that, just to give some props where props is due. There's also the vertical aiming drive and the horizontal. The vertical aiming drive, let's just say you can go maybe 5 or 10 degrees to the left or the right, so you're not really going to use it that much. It would be nice if you could turn the rockets all the way around, so you could maybe shield your guys inside from the fire coming in, but unfortunately you can't. It's just an unfortunate thing. This thing does sit at tier 2, battle rating 3.7, so you can actually run it with the Matilda, which you may have got in the event, which sits at 3.3, and it actually makes quite a devastating combo. If you start off in the Matilda, you have armor, you have a decent gun, and let's say the enemy spawns in a bunch of lightly armored things second time around, like in a bunch of AA, well, guess what? You have 16 rockets that you can use to barrage them. But just remember that AA can absolutely decimate you very, very easily. Obviously, this thing falls subject to the hull break mechanic for obvious reasons, having only 1mm of armor in the part that actually matters. But it's still quite nippy, it's still quite fast, and it is fun to use, which is the perfect vehicle for this special. All you've got to do is watch out for artillery. If somebody calls artillery on your position, run away. Something that is also interesting, it is labelled as a tank destroyer, but it does get artillery, which is very nice. Being a premium vehicle, you do get everything unlocked, so you don't have to worry about that. And the missiles of choice that the BM-13N uses is the M13 SSMs, the surface-to-surface missiles. They are 42 kilograms. They actually travel quite quickly at 355 meters per second, or at least for a rocket around this tier, that's quite quick. And they pen up to 39 millimeters. Now, generally, because they have an explosive mass of 4.9 kilograms, they act very similarly to what you would see from a large HE shell from something like a KV-2, so you don't really have to pen to destroy something. Generally, the rockets will hit the machine, such as a Sherman, which obviously has more armor than a 39, and they'll explode inside. There was an interesting video on the War Thunder Reddit of somebody killing a mouse with this thing. What they actually did was they backed up in the test arena and they actually pointed the rockets as high as they could, so the rockets actually were inside the mouse, and then they fired them. And what happened is the rocket went off inside the mouse and blew it up. So if you are struggling to pen something, and let's say it's immobilized, reverse up to it, stick your rockets inside of it and blow it up. Something to watch out for if you are actually trying to use this thing seriously, which I generally don't recommend. Remember that even if a little fence is in front of you and you fire and the rocket explodes on the fence, you'll probably knock yourself out. So yeah, that's just something to it's just something to worry about. Now, what is interesting is now we have rockets vehicles for basically every nation now. The only one we don't have low-tier rocket vehicles for is the Japanese, so that will be something to look out for. We do have the Type 60 ATM, but every other nation, like with the British, we have the Cromwell RP3. With the Russians, we did have the BM-824, and now the BM-13N Katyusha. For the Germans, the Panzerwerfer 42, and for the Americans, of course, the Calliope sat at 4.3. So, if you're looking for interesting stuff that may be out in the future, my bets are on there will be some kind of Japanese rocket machine, so have a look forward to that in the near future. But anyway, after having a look at all of these vehicles that I've got over the last week or so, I'm very happy with the spread that Gaijin has given us, especially since they're all premium, they're all interesting, and they all have their own little nice characteristics. The World War Mode videos will be going on tomorrow, so look forward to them. But in the meantime, I hope you have a lovely day, and I'll see you next time.